now that I have your attention, to talk about this legislation, we're turning to Senator Todd Young himself. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Great to be with you, Kayla.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're here. I think this is a huge piece of the legislation. So let's dive in. What exactly would this bill do?
So, Kayla, this will revitalize our shipping industry. Now, it's going to take some time. We need a whole new pipeline of trained workers to help rebuild these ships. Those would be really good manufacturing jobs, by the way. So we develop those pipelines. We deregulate those certifications. We do the same thing for merchant mariners, as people who are on commercial ships, and take all of our goods from these shores to other shores and vice versa, so that our modern economy works and we don't have to beg China for ships to move things on. So we take care of that workforce piece. We invest in infrastructure. More importantly, we do some permitting reform so we get private investment in our shipyards. So we can revitalize these shipyards, make them a lot more efficient, open up some old shipyards. We're already hearing some interest in that. Maybe one on the Great Lakes, maybe more than one, so that we can unlock the middle of the country and the amazing manufacturing capacity there. And then lastly, we develop plans for a lot more U.S. flagged ships. So after you build them here and crew them here, we want to flag them. That is, register them in the United States so they'll be available in time of war to move our troops, to move all our materiel, and to make sure that if our war doesn't last 24 or 48 hours, we can sustain the fight by building more ships, by carrying more goods into the theater, et cetera. We're literally wholly unprepared. It's really an indictment on Congress generally, on the people who were supposed to oversee this stuff for generations. And we're getting started. We're getting started, and President Trump has fully bought into this vision, and it's very exciting.
Well, you kind of just said it, but I guess that's where I'm at when I'm hearing you talk, and we're talking about just such a big gap between what China has and the U.S. has. I guess I don't understand. I mean, with China having over 5,000 commercial ships and the U.S. only having 80, and maybe you are pointing the finger at Congress, but how did we fall this far behind?
The notion that somehow this wasn't a big problem and that market forces would take care of it. I mean, it's a national security issue.
Yes.
Market forces don't build, on the U.S. Navy side, they don't build aircraft carriers, right? Yeah. So you need leadership. You need leaders who will make the argument that this should be a national priority. Fortunately, public leaders don't like hard arguments. This is an easy one. Right? Everyone understands. Of course we need more ships. We can't have China building 1,000 a year and the U.S. maybe 5. So we're really going to up our game. And you'll be hearing a lot more details about this. One of the cool things for Hoosiers and those throughout the industrial Midwest is there could be some real opportunities. If you don't have a shipyard in your state that's being revitalized, you may be in the great state of Indiana and work for a steel company. And we have several. Right?
Yeah.
So, in fact, Indiana makes more steel than any other state. You can imagine much of that steel going to build these next generation ships. We have Cummins, we have Rolls-Royce, we have countless, especially in your part of the state, Kayla, up there in the great industrial Northeast. We have a lot of component manufacturers who would love additional business and whose existing automotive applications could be repurposed for maritime applications. So we're doing something that hasn't happened in a long time. We're thinking very intentionally about how do we find spare talent, underutilized talent? How do we find spare industrial capacity, and then democratize opportunities so that not just in the coast do we look for talent and infrastructure. We're looking across the entire country, and I think this will benefit Hoosiers in a very big way.
Yeah, I was reading through the bill, and I see that it sets a goal